All right, everybody, let's go ahead and get started for today. So, welcome to history class. This is a class where we make and learn from history together. So, let's go ahead and get started. Obesity has been a nationwide issue since the rise of fast food chains in the 1950s. To find the root of the problem, we need to go back in time to see why and how America began to grow their waistlines. In the video you are about to watch, it talks about why people began to overeat food due to their fear of not knowing where their next meal was going to come from. This had to do with World War II and the shortage of food that happened during that time. We will all go on a journey with experts in this field to learn about the socio-cultural history of obesity. How far does obesity date back in time? Why does obesity start in the first place? Those are a few questions that you can kind of keep in the back of your mind while you're watching this video. What I'd like you to do is to take a few moments to come up with your own idea about what might have caused this. I want you to really pay attention to the details in the video and see how far these problems have dated back from. This video will give you better insight into the root of the problem and how it leads to the epidemic of obesity and diabetes. The purpose of this video and as to why you are watching it is to serve as a guide for group discussions and your proposal project that you will be working on in your other core classes. The following topic will introduce you to the socio-cultural history of obesity and our diet in the United States. You will also learn about how the food industry played a role in the way we look and consume food today. So, as you can see on the picture, you can see a couple of super popular fast food restaurants that you can find in your local neighborhood. If you think about it, how many do you really see on every corner in your community? Go ahead and take a few minutes to think for yourself. So the following YouTube video, A Sociocultural History of Obesity in the Western Diet, will provide you the insight that you need to learn about our nation's history with obesity. During the video, please feel free to write down anything you find interesting, since we will be discussing what we learned in the video and sharing some solutions that we could come up with to help maybe solve the epidemic that we have. Starting Monday, in your English, PE, and math class, we will be working on a proposal to come up with a solution to obesity or a better way to deal with it. For my class, you will be learning about the root cause of obesity and how to change our food system through our schools. In order to complete this project, you will be using multiple sources provided in your other core classes and through the resources page that you can find on my Google Classroom. To help provide you with other sources, please go ahead and look under the resources tab titled Playground Project Proposal in my Google Classroom. Let's go ahead and watch the video and get started on that. And go ahead and please get out a piece of paper and pen or pencil, whatever you like, and jot down a couple of notes that you find interesting about this video, because I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say and what you learned from this.
The human body runs on food. Once, food shortage was the major concern. After the Second World War, technological advances in food production led to a new era that was characterized by an overabundance of inexpensive food and relatively little physical activity. In the decades that followed, other sociocultural shifts continued to contribute to the changing way we ate. Women who had previously controlled most of the average family's food preparation now entered the workforce in significant numbers, and the processed food industry began to capitalize on our need for fast, convenient food. This meant that fewer meals were being cooked at home, and since convenience foods were generally higher in calories than home-cooked meals, the average person's caloric intake increased dramatically. Academics studying the intersection of food and health, like Michael Pollan, have written extensively about the implications of this cultural shift on the way we eat today.
To the extent we outsource our food, first we eat less healthy food, more salt, fat, and sugar, but we also eat more food because processed food is often designed as snack food and marketed to us as a way to eat continually through the day.
The changes in the way we as a society ate led to the emergence of obesity as a recognized chronic disease with well-defined health consequences. And medical recommendations were made to try and address this growing health crisis. In the second half of the 20th century, a lot of attention was focused on reducing saturated fat and total fat in our diets. And the processed food industry responded by giving us what we wanted. But they still had a vested interest in selling their products, so they found other ways to make the reduced fat products taste good. One way they did this was by adding significantly more sugar and other forms of sugar like corn syrup to almost everything we ate. This not only made the reduced fat foods more appealing, but it also increased their shelf life. So the food industry had a huge incentive to add corn syrup and other sweeteners to packaged foods. The resulting increase in our intake of simple sugars fueled our modern epidemics of obesity and diabetes. These shifts in our food consumption patterns have led us to a point in history where a physiological adaptation, our ability to store energy as fat, has become maladaptive. The balance between food availability and energy expenditure has been disrupted, and it's left us with an exponential increase in the incidence of obesity over the past 60 years, an epidemic that the World Health Organization has labeled a worldwide public health crisis.
Okay, so super interesting to say the least, right? So what I would like you guys to do is to go ahead and log on to my Google Classroom. Finish up whatever you're writing down, whatever interesting facts that you've written down, and I would like you to look for the quiz that I have made for this video. You can go ahead and look for it. It should be titled A Socio-Cultural History of Obesity and the Western Diet quiz. So you are going to be taking about 10 minutes to be completing that. It has about 9 to 10 questions, I believe, on there. So you can, and there are whole different ranges of questions. There's multiple choice, true and false, short questions, longer answers. And please, please, please take your time, okay? Please take your time during this quiz. So, last question I have to ask you guys. Are you ready to find the solution? I also hope that you guys feel that you have the necessary information to complete your proposal. The assignments you will be working on for the next few weeks will be your proposal letter, coming up with a 3-dimensional plan for your playground, and going on a field trip in your PE class. Thank you all for staying tuned. Please, please, please be prepared for our discussion on Monday. Have a good one, guys.